Hello students, in this video we will learn and discuss about another concept of economics called approaches or branches of economics. So before studying or before discussing about the branches or approaches of economics, we need to understand what is the meaning of economics, what it does, how we can define the economics. See, economics is the study of individual behavior of human beings. It is the study of individual behavior of human beings. It is not only the behavior of individual behavior, also the aggregate. So the branches of economics, that is micro and macroeconomics, studies the individual behaviors and aggregates differently, but combinedly economics can study the behavior of individuals at behavior of individuals individual level as well the aggregate level. So economics means it is the study of economic resources, or it is the study of how the individuals can utilize the scarce resources in order to satisfy the unlimited wants. In other words, economics means it is the study of how the scarce resources utilizing among the various alternatives in order to get the maximum benefit is known as economics. Now let us see the definition of economics. Economics is the study of how people allocate their scarce resources among the unlimited wants and desires to get the maximum benefit. So all of us know very well the resources are always scarce. So this, as the resources are the scarce, the resources are in terms of capital, in terms of anything, all the resources are very scarce. So these resources are need to utilize to satisfy the unlimited wants. So economics studies how the individuals utilizing these resources in order to satisfy the unlimited wants. Let us take an example. So there is a teacher who earns 10,000 rupees per month. 10,000 rupees per month. And this teacher has different expenditures during the month. Here he need to purchase rice, need to go for kirana, need to go for petrol for his bike, and he also expending some amount on other activities. So here economics means the study of how this teacher allocating this 10,000 rupees among these activities or expenditures satisfying during the month is known as economics. So resources are only 10,000 rupees available per month, but here there are wants or desires or requirements are more. In this case, here the teacher need to identify or satisfy the first based on the priority. You need to identify which is very important, which expenditure is very important in order to survive. Accordingly, allocate this 10,000 rupees among the activities. The study of allocating this 10,000 rupees among the alternatives is known as economics. Means here resources are limited, but the requirements or the wants are unlimited. So out of these unlimited ones, you need to choose the best one, or we need to give the priority as per the requirement in order to satisfy them. This is what called economics. So here economics is the study of human activity, both individual and national level. The economists of early age treated economics as the science of wealth. Every one of us involved in efforts aimed at earning money and spending the earned money to satisfy our wants, desires, likes, and requirements. So here, earning money and spending the same on various activities in order to satisfy is known as economic activity. Example, we may purchase clothes, we may purchase rice, we may purchase some other kirana or whatever in order to survive in the universe. So such activities of earning and spending money are known as economic activities. So economics studies how individuals or the businesses or the governments and the nations make the choices on allocating the resources to satisfy their wants and needs and requirements, and tries to determine how these groups should utilize the coordinate efforts to achieve maximum and output. How the scarce resources are utilizing by the organization, by the individuals in order to achieve the maximum output, maximum benefit or maximum satisfaction is known as economics. That is what this economics will study. So economics is a social science which concerned with the production, distribution and consumption of goods and services in every organization. It is a social science which concerned with the production, how the production will conduct, production process will conduct, what are the factors of production, what are the various prices of production, how the production decisions will be taken, and all these activities related to decisions related to the production will be taken. This is also the study of economics. Distribution, how to distribute, when to distribute, whom to distribute, and what are the channels to be used to distribute. This is also economics. Study of these activities also economics. Consumption, and here how to consume the resources available in the market, in the organization in order to produce the goods and services is also the study of economics. Here there is no boundaries or there is no restrictions to study the economics. Economics can study anything, anywhere, right? So economics is a social science. Now let us see the different features of economics. The features of these features of economics are given by Professor Robbins, such as unlimited wants, scarce resources, alternative uses, and choice. So unlimited wants means, so every human beings in the universe are having unlimited number of wants. Means it is very difficult to satisfy them. It is not possible to satisfy all the requirements, likes, desires, taste and preferences of human beings in the universe. Because if you satisfy one desire and want, you may expect, you may have some other want. So it is not possible to satisfy all the requirements, all the wants and all the desires of human beings. And the second one is scarce resources. So here, apart from these unlimited ones, we have the resources very scarce. The resources are scarce, we can say, when the resources are limited in supply when compared to the total demand. Now, in this case, here when compared to the unlimited ones, the sources are available with the human beings are very scarce, means very limited scarce when compared to the ones that they are required, that they need to satisfy. And alternative uses. So here, by using the scarce resources, we need to satisfy, we need to use these scarce resources in different ways is known as alternative uses. For example, if we have in our hand 1000 rupees, 1000 rupees may be used in different ways. See, if the student have 1000 rupees in his hand, this 1000 rupees may be used for the transportation to go from home to school, or this may be used for the books, may be used for purchasing pens, this may be used for food or canteen, this may be used for movie, this may be used for other alternatives. So there are the different alternative uses available, and this 1000 rupees may be used to satisfy all the alternatives or some of the alternatives based on the priority. So before allocating this 1000 rupees among the requirements, we need to first identify which is very important to satisfy. Accordingly, we need to give the priority. As per the priority, we need to satisfy the expenditures are available, requirements available, wants available. So the next one is choice. So out of all these alternatives, which I can select, which I can choose. Choosing the best out of the alternatives available is known as choice. So they are the four features of economics, such as unlimited wants, scarce resources, alternative uses, and the choice. Now let us see the approaches or branches of economics. Until now we have seen the economics, the features of economics. What is economics? Economics is the study of behavior of human beings, both at individual and aggregate. Means here, individual means micro, aggregate means macro. So economics is the study of behavior of the individuals and the aggregate level is known as economics. Now in this we will discuss the branches of economics. There are two branches in economics, that is microeconomics and macroeconomics. Microeconomics is, here the word micro is taken from the Latin word micros. Here the word micro taken from the Latin word micro, which means micros, which means small, Study of individual behavior of the human beings or the firm or the industry is known as microeconomics. So microeconomics is the study of individuals, households and firms' behavior in decision making and allocation of the resources available. As we have scarce resources, we need to allocate all the alternative ones. It generally applies to markets of goods and services and deals with individual and economic issues. Simply we can say microeconomics is the study of individual consumer behavior. What is microeconomics? Microeconomics is the study of individual consumer behavior, or microeconomics means it is the study of single single firm, single industry. Means a small quantity of the consumer, small quantity of firms can be studied is known as microeconomics. Microeconomics focuses on the actions of individual agents within the economy, like household workers and the businesses. Household workers and the businesses. And this economics studies, that is microeconomics studies, with what choices people make, what factors influence their choices, and how their decisions affect the goods markets by affecting the price and the supply and the demand and the cost and the price and all other decisions. This studies all these price, cost, demand, supply, and all other the concepts which are uh, limited to the firm, which are confined with the firm. So microeconomics plays a very significant role in assisting the business firms and the business makers. Whoever want to take the decisions in the single firm, whoever want to take the decisions in the businesses, this microeconomics can help in various areas. Example, if you want to take the decisions about the prices of the product, this microeconomics, study of microeconomics is very helpful. If you want to take the decisions about the demand forecasting, if you want to take the decision about the investing in the business, if you want to take the decisions about making the product or buying the product in order to sell in the market, if you want to take the decision about the inventories, take the decisions about the demand, taking the decision about the supply, whatnot, whatever the concept, whatever the decision area confined with the business or the firm or the single company is will help this microeconomics to take the decisions in all these areas. All these areas, this microeconomics can helpful. So now let us see what is the importance of this microeconomics at individual firms. What is the significance of this microeconomics at individual firms or the companies? So these are the some of the points identified where the microeconomics can play very important role in the businesses, such as optimum utilization of resources, demand analysis, cost analysis, free market economy, production decision optimization, pricing policies, determination of relative prices of products, basis of managerial economics. So they are the some of the factors where the microeconomics can take the decision. Now let us see one by one the areas where this microeconomics play an important role or significant role. The first one is optimum utilization of resources. The study of this microeconomics helps the decision makers to analyze and determine how the productive resources are allocated for various goods and services. It also helps in solving the problems of the producers when they are in dilemma to take the decisions on the resources to utilize. As we know that the resources are very scarce in any business or the company. When the producers or the business people are in dilemma to take the decisions about how to allocate the available resources on various activities or the business operations, this microeconomics can help them. And how to produce, what to produce, when to produce, whom to produce. So the decisions related these questions will the decisions or the solutions for all these questions will give by the microeconomics. Means if you understand or apply the microeconomic principles or the techniques or the tools or methodologies or methods, so you will get our producer will get the suggestions or the solutions for all these questions: when to produce, what to produce, how to produce, whom to produce, and all other questions, for all other questions. The next one is demand analysis. Yes. So the microeconomics is also give the suggestions to analyze the demand for a product in the market. And microeconomics also can study the demand for a product in the market. Any producer want to know the demand for their product in the market, they need to apply some technique which is called demand. So here the demand is also one of the technique of microeconomics, tool of microeconomics. With the help of this microeconomics analysis, business firms can forecast the level of demand with certain time levels or intervals. So the demand for a commodity fluctuates depends on the variety of factors affecting it. Thus, the business firms and decision makers can determine the level of demand for the commodity. So the microeconomics can help the producers to identify what are the different factors that affecting directly or indirectly on the demand in order to analyze the demand for a product. When the producer is in a position to analyze the demand for a commodity or the product or the service, automatically he will solve the problems for that he will solve that problem. If there is a more demand in the market, automatically he will try to produce or supply in order to meet the demand in the market. If there is no demand in the market, automatically he will reduce the production in order to diversify the investments, diversify the resources to another production. So here this is how the producer can save their resources in order to produce more where there is no demand, in order to produce less where there is more demand. So this microeconomics can help the producer to balance the production in the business. Next, the next one is cost analysis. Yes, it is microeconomics is also helps the producer to analyze the cost of the production. So microeconomics theories explains various conditions of the cost like fixed cost, variable cost, semi-variable cost, average cost, marginal cost, and so on. So along with this, it also provides an analysis of the short-run and long-run cost that help the business decisions makers determine the cost of the production and other related cost. So that here they will take the decisions whether to incur the cost in the business in order to produce the production or not. It is also used to help to analyze the total cost of the production, which can help the producer to fix the prices of the product. And this demand cost microeconomics also helps to formulate the cost policies. Cost policy, how much cost they need to incur on production, incurred on so factors of production, incurred on sources of the production, and so on. So microeconomics also helps in the cost analysis, not only in the cost analysis, also help in making policies in cost concepts. The next one is free market economy. So microeconomics helps the operating of a free market economy where an individual producer has the freedom to take economic decisions like what to produce, how to produce, when to produce, or for whom to produce. Allocation of resources is determined by price or the market mechanism, that is interaction between demand and supply. So this is how the microeconomics can help in free market economy. The next one is production decision optimization. This is very important decision that producer has to take in the business or the company in the organization. So microeconomics deals with the different production techniques which help to find out the optimal production decision, which helps the decision makers to determine the factors needed in order to produce a certain products or the services in the range of the products available. So if you apply the microeconomic concepts, microeconomic concepts or the techniques of microeconomics, then automatically you will be taking the optimum decision in production. Here, with what quality, what is the what with what quality the products should be produced, the quantity of the production, the size of the products, the quality, the label of the products, the color labels and size. So everything will be taken by the producer if you apply the microeconomics concepts. The next one is pricing policies. This is very important area where the business persons or the producers can take the decision, can be taken the decision, that is pricing policies. Fixing the prices, fixing the prices for the producer product is one art. It is one art. If you are not fixing a suitable price, right, affordable price for the product, then there is no demand for our product. So here fixing the price is not a simple task. So it is very difficult to take the decision on pricing while fixing on the produced product. So here at the time of taking the decisions on fixing the prices on the product or formulating the policies about the pricing, the microeconomics can help to the producers. This analysis provides, that is microeconomic analysis, provides the business managers with a through the knowledge of theory, thorough knowledge of the theories of production and pricing in order to ensure that giving the optimum price for the suitable products. So based on the cost, based on the demand, based on the factors of production, based on availability of competitors' products, based on other factors, the pricing policies to be made. So this formation of policies for the pricing is through the microeconomic study. So microeconomics also helps the producers in making policies in pricing of the products. The next one is determination of relative prices of the products or the factors of production. So here the microeconomics helps in analyzing market mechanisms like determinants of demand and supply, which are responsible for the determining prices of commodities in the market. Along with this, it provides that microeconomics provides insight on theories relating to the prices of the factors of production. It is not only the factors of not only determination of relative prices of the products, also the microeconomic also helps in analyzing the prices of the factors of production like 4Ms, men, money, machinery and material. If producers are in a position to analyze the prices of these factors of production, automatically he may plan for the future, how much produce, what to produce, when to produce, how to produce, from where to produce, means in terms of suppliers. So all these decisions will be taken based on the determination of relative prices of the products or factors of production. In this case also the microeconomics can help to the producer in order to take effective decisions on purchasing the resources or the factors or purchasing the products from the market. The next one is the basis of managerial economics. Yes, microeconomics is the base for the managerial economics, because here it is one of the characteristic or the nature of managerial economics. So managerial economics is close to microeconomics. So microeconomics is used for the study of business unit, but not the economy as a whole. It is known as managerial economics. So managerial economics is the study of all the aspects of the business, individual business, which is close to microeconomics. So managerial economics cannot study whole the economy. It studies only the single or the individual business. The various tools used in microeconomics like cost and price determination and individual levels becomes the foundation of managerial economics. So the microeconomics is very close to the macroeconomics. Microeconomics is very close to managerial economics. Managerial economics is close to microeconomics. So this is one of the nature of managerial economics, that is microeconomics, very close to microeconomics. So they are the some of the significant areas where the microeconomics can help the producer in order to take effective and efficient decisions in the businesses. Now, coming to the second branch of the economics is macroeconomics. This is the second branch of economics, macroeconomics. So the word macro is taken from the Latin word macros, which means large, which means large. Micros means small. Micros is the Latin word which means small. Macro is taken from the Latin word macros, which means large. So microeconomics is the study of individual consumer behavior. Macroeconomics is the study of aggregate or the total income level of economic activity in the country. It is not confined to the single individual consumer. It is not restricted to the single firm or company or the business. It is the study of aggregate level, the total or whole economy of the country. That study is known as a macroeconomic study. So coming to the definitions of macroeconomics, it is the branch of economics that studies the behavior and performance of economy as a whole. It focuses on the aggregate changes in the economy such as unemployment, growth rate, gross demand, gross supply, and so on. How this microeconomics is studying the demand, supply, price, cost, income, revenue, factors of production, prices, investments, inventories, and all other for the single or individual business. Here, in case of microeconomics, all these areas as a whole, the study of all these areas as a whole in the country is known as macroeconomics. So macroeconomics locates the economy as a whole. It focuses on broad issues such as growth of the production, the number of unemployed people, the inflationary increases in prices, government deficits, and levels of exports and imports, and so on. So macroeconomic studies in all these areas in order to give the suggestions to the government or the authorities. So microeconomics analyzes all the aggregate indicators and the microeconomic factors that influences the economy. So government and corporations use macroeconomic models to help in formulating the economic policies and take their strategic decisions. By using these macroeconomic models, they used to formulate the economic policies for the country in order to take the decisions strategically in the country. So coming to the importance of macroeconomics. So they are the some of the areas where the macroeconomics can play very significant role, such as functioning of economy, formulation of economic policies, understanding microeconomics, understanding and controlling economic fluctuations, inflation and deflation, study of national income. These are the areas where the macroeconomics can play a very significant role. Now let us see one by one. The first one is the functioning of economy. So macroeconomic analysis is of prominent importance in getting us an idea of functions of economic system in the country. So here, if you want to functioning of economy, we require to study the all the areas at aggregate level. It is not possible the study of individual behavior or the individual company or individual industry. We need to study all the areas aggregate level in order to make the policies for functioning of an economy. So it is very essential for a proper and accurate knowledge of the behavior pattern of the aggregate variables, as the description of the large and complex economic system is impossible in terms of numerous individual items. The second one is formulation of economic policies. Yes, macroeconomics will help to formulate the economic policies. How the microeconomic studies helps in business to frame the policies for the individual businesses. Here the macroeconomic studies helps the countries to formulate the economic policies. It will help very importantly, significantly for the countries in making the policies for the policies respect to the economics. So macroeconomics is of great help in formulation of these economic policies. Governments deals not with the individuals but with the groups and the masses of individuals, thereby establishing the importance of macroeconomic studies. By using these macroeconomic studies reports, the countries will formulate the policies in the country in order to implement, in order to get the maximum economic levels, increase the economic levels of the country. The next one is understanding the microeconomics. Macroeconomics is used to understand the microeconomics. The study of macroeconomics is essential for understanding the microeconomics. Yes, if you are not understanding the macroeconomics, you may not be able to understand this microeconomics. So if you able to analyze the study of individual behavior, if you are able to apply the macroeconomic techniques, then it can be easy for study the macroeconomics. Both are interlinked. So no microeconomic law could be framed without a prior study of the aggregates. Example, the theory of individual form could not have been formulated with reference to the behavior pattern of the single form. Yes, exactly. It is not possible. The next one is understanding the controlling my economic fluctuations. So macroeconomic studies helps in understanding and controlling the economic fluctuations in the country. Economic fluctuations are a characteristic feature of a capitalist form of society. The theory of economic fluctuations can be understood and built upon only with the help of the macroeconomics. If we are not able to understand the macroeconomic concept, or if we are not applying the concept or technique of macroeconomic techniques, tools, or methodologies, you may not understand, may not able to understand uh, and controlling the economic fluctuations. Economic fluctuation means up and down, or fluctuation changes in the economic levels of the country. If you want to understand or control these fluctuations in income or the economy, you need to apply, or you need to apply the methods or the techniques of macroeconomics. The next one is inflation and deflation. Yes, macroeconomic approach is of utmost importance to analyze and understand the effects of inflation and deflation. So different sections of society are affected differently as a result of changes in the value of economy or value of money in the countries. So macroeconomic analysis enables us to take the certain steps to counterattack the adverse influences of inflation and deflation. This is possible only through the study of macroeconomics. Is there any changes in the prices, any changes in income, or any differences in the revenues of the aggregate level, income level of the country, then it can be understand the by using the macroeconomic concept only. The next one is study of national income. Yes, if you want to study the national income, you need to apply the macroeconomic concept. It is the study of macroeconomics which has brought forward the immense importance of the study of national income and the social accounts. In microeconomy, such as the study was relegated to the background. It is the study of national income which enables us to know that 3/4 of the world is living in abject poverty. So without a study of national income as a result of the development in macroeconomics, it was not possible or it is not possible to formulate correct economic policies. Any country in the world or universe, if you want to make any economic policy, you must have to understand the income levels of the countries, income levels of the states, income levels of the areas. So if you are not able to understand the income levels of the country, the governments may not able to formulate the policies of the country. So in that way, the macroeconomics is used to study the national income or income of the nations. So they are the some of the areas where the macroeconomics study of macroeconomics play a very significant role in the countries. So they are the two branches of economics are very important in examination point of view. Now let us see the difference between micro and macroeconomic concepts. So here in the just now we have seen what is micro and macroeconomics and what is the significance of micro and macroeconomics or importance of micro and macroeconomics in various average areas at individual and aggregate level. Now let us see the difference between microeconomics and macroeconomics. Now let us see the difference between micro and macroeconomics or difference between branches of economics, that is micro and macroeconomics. This micro, the difference between micro and macroeconomics, we are identifying, differentiating by using the various points. Here point of difference, microeconomics and macroeconomics. Now let us see how this micro and macroeconomics is different respect to the different points or the features. The first one is meaning. So what is the meaning of microeconomics and macroeconomics? Microeconomics is the study of individual and it studies the individual economic variables in terms of demand, supply, price, cost, prices of related goods, prices of factors of production and so on. All these are related to a single economic unit or the firm. Whereas coming to the macroeconomics, macroeconomics studies aggregate economic variables, that is aggregate demand of the country, aggregate supply of the country, aggregate prices of the factors of production, aggregate prices of the products of the various companies or the industries. Whereas coming to the second one, scope, here microeconomic scope is very narrow, that is confined to the individual business, that is restricted to individual business, because the nature of microeconomics itself reveals that it is the study of individual behavior. It is the study of individual behavior. Therefore, there is a very narrow scope in case of microeconomics. But whereas coming to the macroeconomics, very wide scope. Example, country level. Because here microeconomics itself explains that is a study of the aggregate level of the country in terms of demand, in terms of supply, in terms of income levels, in terms of employment opportunities, or in terms of national income, or whatever the concept related to the country, means at a country level the macroeconomics can study. Hence there is a wide scope. The next one, the next point which can differentiate the micro and macroeconomics is evolution. So this evaluation of micro took place earlier than macro. So before studying the macroeconomics, the evaluation of micro took place. Means if you understand and analyze the analyze the businesses or the individual firms by using the microeconomics concepts, that will be easy to study at aggregate level. Whereas coming to the macroeconomics, it is only after the publication of Keynes book, means after publication of the Keynes book, the macroeconomics can be started. The next point is related concepts. So what are the concepts related to the microeconomics and macroeconomics? The related concepts also differentiating the microeconomics and macroeconomic concepts. So microeconomic concept is related to demand, cost, price, supply, markets, related to micro, whereas the macroeconomics, all these at aggregate level or the country level, that is aggregate demand, total cost, prices of products, supply, total markets at national level or at country level is comes under the macro levels. The next point which can differentiate macro and macro is purpose of the study. Then what is the purpose of microeconomics and macroeconomics? So the purpose of microeconomics is to analyze the individual economic unit or the firm, or microeconomic helps in to analyze the individual economic unit or the firm or the consumer or the industry. Whereas macroeconomics, here it helps in analyzing the employment, national income, economic growth, inflation, deflation at a country level. That helps, macroeconomic helps in to analyze all these in all these areas. Then the next one is theories. What are the different theories in microeconomics and macroeconomics? Here the theory of demand, theory of production, theory of price, theory of cost, theory of other factors of production are developed from the microeconomics at individual units. Whereas macroeconomics, theory of national income, theory of employment, theory of aggregate demand, theory of supply, theory of prices of products are developed under macroeconomics. Then the next one is tools. What are the different tools using in microeconomics to study? What are the different tools using in macroeconomics to study the economics? So here demand and supply of a particular commodity are the main tools of microeconomics. Individual demand and individual supply of a particular product are the main tools of a microeconomics, whereas macroeconomics, aggregate demand and aggregate supply are the main tools of macroeconomics. So dear students, so these are the various points explaining the differences between microeconomics and macroeconomics. Here The finally we can conclude that microeconomics is the study of individual units, individual consumers, individual industries, and this study helps to take the decisions in the demand for the product, prices of the products, factors of the production, cost of the production, and other areas which is confined to the company or the firm. Whereas the macroeconomics is used to study the aggregate level or the total income of the nation, where the aggregate demand, aggregate supply, aggregate inflation, deflation, supply, and all other areas can be studied under macroeconomics. So this is about the concept of micro and macroeconomics. Dear students, in this video we have discussed the various concepts of micro and macroeconomics, that is, what is economics, what are the features of economics, what is microeconomics, importance of microeconomics, what is macroeconomics, importance of macroeconomics, and also the difference between micro and macroeconomics by using different points, different points. So this is also very important concept in examination point of view. That is, what is economics? Explain the micro and macroeconomic concepts. Okay, thank you.